Hello everyone, welcome to round 10 of the LIMITof ADHESION Radical Championship presented by Make Real Media. I'm Gareth, and joining me as always in the virtual commentary box is Jim. How are you doing, Jim?
I'm doing very well, Gareth, back in the USA. Last week we had Silverstone in good old Blighty, and that's it for Europe. We're back where all the races seem to have been, back in the States.
Yeah, absolutely. So Laguna Seca this week, and Jim, why don't you tell us about the circuit?
Well, Laguna Seca is one of the more famous American circuits, road courses. It's a bit of an interesting track because it's very undulating, so there's lots of uphill sections, especially for the first half of the track. So there's maybe the most important or the most iconic of the corners is a corkscrew, which is a ridiculously downhill section where you go through a left-right hairpin, but it's blind as you crest over it. And then that kind of takes you into a downhill roller coaster through the rainy curve before you finish the lap. But before you even get there, the first sector or two, there's the Andretti hairpin, which is officially the second corner, but really is the first one you'd noticed after another curly straight here in the US. And it might be a bit follow the leader through the early sections of the course. You are trying to gradually get yourself uphill to the corkscrew. It'll be interesting to see how the radicals handle that. So I've really no idea how this week will pan out in terms of overtaking. But yeah, I think a few of the drivers are going to be happy to get rid of this track, and they're expecting quite a lot of difficulty.
Yeah, there's going to be a wild array of times on the grid, and as you say, this track and this car combination are very, very tricky to keep together. Yeah, lots of mistakes.
Yes, I think field spread could be a real big issue with this race. That you could see the cars doing quite distinct little battles. Like you can see in the championship as well, with the difference between those up front and those battling a bit further back. Yeah.
And talking of the championship, obviously Gavin Kelly versus Mark Tranter 1 and 2 in the championship. But now Gavin actually will need the help of another driver in order to get the deal done.
Yeah, all eyes on Gavin Kelly to see what he can do, but then it's maybe looking for the help of Dave Lyne, who's been always there or thereabouts, and Rob Miller, to maybe, and Burnett, of course, to maybe try and take some points off of Tranter and give Gavin Kelly a chance of the championship. But I'd say that Tranter is the champion-elect at the moment.
Yeah, I agree with you, but Dave is certainly looking like a threat for this race, and I'm very interested to see what he can do after he missed Silverstone. And then further down the championship order, we've got an amazing battle for third place in the title with Dave Lyne, Rob Miller, Will Burnett and Tony Hankin and Stephen Batty all in the hunt for that. So from third to eighth, third and seventh in the championship, all going for that third place at the moment.
This dropping points format is very, very makes very interesting viewing at this tail end of the season.
Yeah, no, it's as I say, it's going to be amazing. So. Well, let's take a look now at the pole lap and the grid.
Lyne, who got pole position after his week off last week, something must have happened for him to learn Laguna Seca in those 2 weeks between his races. So we're coming now to the hairpin. He's got up to 230 kilometers an hour and goes in for 1 and 2 tight apexes on the first corner at this track. And we've got 2 rights, a little dab on the brakes to turn the car in, and then this corner on warm tyres, he should be able to do a bit quicker than this, but just gets away with putting a little dab on the brakes, off throttle, and I've got 2 90-degree lefters. Runs over the curbs a little bit there, but gets away with it. And now this is a horrible, horrible corner. He's off throttle 200 meters, back on throttle just past the apex, and we go on the uphill section now before we get to the infamous corkscrew. Lyne throws the car out right, very patient before he gets on full throttle, just when he gets past the second apex of the chicane. He's fully off throttle in 4th gear as we get to the final section of this track, using a lot of the curbs, and again just a little dab. This is a quick lap. I wonder if he knows how quick this is. Gets around that final corner nicely, a little bit of oversteer but handles it well. And he crosses the line, David Lyne pole position, 118.805. So So that pole position for David Lyne, his first of the season, gets him starting at the front, joined alongside with Rob Miller in second. Stephen Batty gets a high qualifying in third place, with championship contender Gavin Kelly starting fourth. Gareth Winslade with a great qualifying on the third row, with Tony Hankin in sixth place. Mark Tranter very much out of position this week as he tries to get the championship, starts in seventh, and recent joiner to the league James Garlick starts in eighth. Gareth Jones is ninth place, the last of the drivers to set a time this week, with Lawrence Erin Jenkins, Will Burnett and Paul Dixon making up the final three places as they did not set a time.
So here we are on the grid then. David Lyne on pole, Rob Miller in second place. Be exciting to see whether Dave can finally... And there we go, they're off. Heading through T1 already on the way down to the corner. That's a slow start for Dixon at the back there. Rob Miller looking to the outside of Dave Lyne into the tight T2, and Stephen Batty getting alongside and very squirrely there, and that's Burnett losing it on the outside. David Lyne holding on, pulling away slightly into T3. Rob Miller second, Batty running wide there, and that's allowed Kelly through into third place with Tranter in fourth. Oh, and look at Tranter straight down around the outside of Gavin Kelly and into third place. What an incredible start he's just had. What do you make of that, Jim?
Wow. Yeah, Gavin just seemed to have no pace for a second, then Tranter really took advantage around the outside, and heartbreak for Burnett with another first lap incident.
Yeah, and what an amazing lead that Dave Lyne's already pulled out. 1.5 seconds as they come up to the corkscrew for the first time. Tranter looking at Miller into the corkscrew, not a great place to pass unless you can get the job done on the braking zone. Down the hill they come.
Yeah, Lyne is really streaking away, you're completely right, and Tranter getting ahead of Kelly, be critical for the championship.
And down the inside into the final corner.
Now with Miller.
This is turn 11. Oh look, Tranter getting sideways there. Cold tyres still in effect in these cars.
Well held there by Tranter, but now he's got the slipstream of Miller as they come down the curly straight. Slips down the inside, takes some of the cones out.
And he's through to position 2.
But has he run out too wide now? Has Miller got back on the inside?
Oh, look at the car snaking there. And that's allowed Gavin Kelly back through to third place. Of course, this is cracking stuff from second to fourth place.
Can we have cold tyres on these cars all the time? This is amazing to watch.
Yeah, and look, Dave Lyne nearly 3 seconds in the lead now.
Lyne is really comfortable at this track. He's streaking away while everyone else is fighting for position behind them, and it's really allowing him to have no problems to deal with. The rest of these chasing pack, these three, Gavin going a bit wide there.
Yeah, and that's given Tranter the
through.
run. Dave Lyne was quite irritated after qualifying because his pole lap is actually his banker. Oh my gosh, Tranter wide in the corkscrew. Drops down to fourth, and that's Batty going to take advantage here.
The permutations for the championship and this are tremendous.
Huge.
Yeah, Tranter's had several mistakes in the opening parts of this race.
And that's James Garlick running in 6th place at the moment.
Lovely livery there by Garlick.
That's awesome. And that's Winslade in the pits. He got towed on lap 1. He must be fuming waiting to get out of the pits there.
Indeed, yeah. So what we got now, Lyne streaking away, still 2.5 seconds there he is now, with Miller quite comfortable in second place now. Kelly running just behind him with Tranter, his championship rival, in 4th place. Batty, Garlick, Dixon, Burnett recovering after his early mess. And then Gary Jones-Hankin at the ledge, and that Winslade a lap down now with his towing, like you say.
Yeah, finally out the pits then. And look at that gap. That's a huge gap from first to second now. And Rob stretching away from Gavin Kelly as well.
I'd have to say even more significant at the moment is that Kelly's got quite a gap on Tranter too. That's important. It's Kelly, like we said before the race started, Kelly can't win this championship if Tranter comes second, so he needs to make sure that other drivers do help him have a chance at staying in this championship as they drop the scores at later in this championship season.
Great point. Yeah, and also, I mean, obviously, as well as that, he will need Dave and Rob to stay ahead as well. And look at Burnett now going to the inside of Dixon as they come out the final corner to complete the lap.
Nice clean racing there.
Yeah, that's good moves.
Does Dixon have a chance back in the slipstream? No. Burnett seems to have got that quite covered. And Apex is quite well, both of them do.
Now, Burnett opted not to even qualify for this race, preferring to come from the back and trying to avoid the chaos of the midfield. He wasn't comfortable with his pace.
Well, it's a difficult track to be on. We mentioned it again beforehand, just the problems we could face in this race, and they seem to be coming to fruition. So Burnett maybe with an unorthodox but correct tactic of attempting to benefit from being at the back.
Yeah. You've got Hankin attacking Gary Jones, currently running 9th and 10th. As we cut back to our leader, David Lyne, still 3 seconds clear, more or less, of Rob Miller.
It looks like Gavin Kelly's caught up a little bit on Miller as well. He's just about a second behind him. You can see all covered in one frame there.
Yeah, you're right. That's a scary train of cars to have behind you.
Yes, I'm not envious of Lyne at all in this. And curiously, again, Tranter still hasn't caught up on Kelly, so these top five seem to
run wide again,
fairly...
outbraked himself.
Well spotted. That might be why he's not catching up. He's maybe a bit too eager to get ahead.
Would you say he was on the limit of adhesion?
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Dreadful, I know.
I think I'm going for a tunnel. I might lose signal for a little bit.
So Rob's gained half a second now on Dave Lyne so the gap down from 3 seconds to closer to 2.5. Still yo-yoing slightly, so it's obviously a nip and tuck battle through the different corners. And here's Batty mounting a challenge on Tranter up to the corkscrew.
Tranter's in a bit of a... Yeah, we've got Batty so close behind him.
Looking to the
braking zone's wrong.
That's not a passing place there. You've got to be super committed.
No, well, this is it. If Batty gets his braking point wrong, or if Tranter goes a bit too defensive and takes him by surprise, that could both of their races be really, really screwed up. Just thinking every time they brake then with how close they're running, that could have massive implications, like I say, on this championship. And I've got to have a shout out as well to James Garlick, who's just keeping pace with these guys in 6th place. It looks like he's dead in the midfield, but it's really encouraging to be running in 6th. So coming to this championship so late.
Yeah, great spot there, Jim, because not an easy car to get on top of, especially around a track like Laguna Seca. And it's very, very good performance there from James, like you're saying.
There's consistency as well. You can see if you look at the best times from everybody else, who are in the 119s, Miller 118, Kelly 118. So Garlick got a 120 on the last lap, but he's not making any mistakes, and that consistency is key.
Yeah. On board now with Stephen Batty tracing Tranter up to the corkscrew again. You see Tranter running wide a little bit, kicking up a little bit of dust.
Oh, it's a great on board, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very nice. Just seeing how you have to be quite patient on the throttle compared to some cars around here when you come through the corkscrew. Just getting a little understeer through this last couple of corners. Replay of the start. Winslade jump start. Do you see that? In the orange crush car.
Dirty, dirty Winslade.
Well, no, I mean he stopped again, but it was just a silly mistake, really, I guess.
It'd be frustrating for him to be so far down from such a small error.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But Net goes around the outside and just loses it all by himself.
Yeah, and we can see Batty squirming around there on those cold tyres, struggling to keep the car on track. Replay of lap 1 on board of Winslade and drops it into the wall.
Is that Jones as well dropping it too? Now we get
And there's Hankin dropping it as well.
3-4 cars just all not having any grip there.
Winslade deciding to get towed. Maybe a mistake doing that. It didn't look like that. Oh, and there's another replay of Hankin losing it out of the corkscrew. Just demonstrating what I was saying about being how easy you have to be on the throttle when you come out of the corkscrew.
So at this stage of the racing, are we thinking that these cars, as they're tightening up those top three, and Miller's really dropped the gap there to Dave Line? Maybe Line's had an issue.
Yeah.
But are these cars now fully up to temperature, would you say? Are these cars now going to be running at full grip?
Yeah.
Should we expect the mistakes to be lessened?
First three all covered by less than a second now. This is incredible. And chasing down the ledge.
You mentioned for Dave Line it being uncomfortable having that chain of cars behind him, and the ledge now with this fast pace of these lead pack. Look at that, the podium sitters all in one corner.
Yeah.
The ledge is going to have to get out of the way. Nice, he does as well. Line must have been a bit worried there potentially about what could happen, having to get past the back markers with having Rob Miller just 4 tenths behind him.
Well, I want to know what happened to his comfortable 3-second lead. Where did that go? You can see it's not there's a fag paper between them now.
Yeah, it's bad for Line, but great for us watching.
Yeah, it certainly is. So through the corkscrew they come. Line, Miller, Kelly, Tranter and Batty about 3-4 seconds back from this pair. And Batty's through. Batty is past Tranter now, so we'll see a replay of that and what happened there. Kelly down the inside.
Vital, for Kelly to get these moves done as he looked on the inside of Rob like you were about to call.
Yeah, just run slightly
Could
wide
really extend his championship.
on the last corner as well though, which has compromised him down to the next big overtaking spot, which is turn 2 here. Second gear.
So it's worthwhile saying to those who might have joined LIMITof ADHESION late and are unfamiliar with what's going on, but the worst 3 championship results will get dropped from any driver's championship final tally, which means that Gavin Kelly can afford a poor race or 3, as he's been running every single week of the 10 we've got so far, with 1 week still to go. However, Tranter doesn't have that luxury. He joined in round 4 with a tremendous second place and has been victorious ever since. But because of that, he automatically defaults on his first 3 rounds, which he didn't attend. And therefore, it's any poor results he has. As Kelly goes, squirming, well held though.
Well held indeed. I thought he was going to lose that.
But yeah, as Tranter, if Tranter has a bad result, that counts towards his championship final score, as Kelly can have a bad result and it not be so impactful for him. So it's hugely vital that Tranter gets back past Batty, and well, it might be a bit of a too big an ass now to get on the tail of these guys unless they have a mistake and take all 3 of them out.
Yeah, all 3 of these guys are running super fast and very consistently. Although it's Gavin Kelly now who has the fastest lap of a 1:18.7.
It's great to see the top 3 running so closely as well.
Yeah. I think Line's slightly driving within himself now, just trying to make sure he doesn't make a silly error here, because it's a challenging combo this.
Well, he's soaking up the pressure like a sponge. As of course Miller as well, and Miller and Line are both looking for their first victory of this season, with
Right.
Batty being the only person outside of the top 2 of the championship, Tranter and Kelly, who's scored a victory this championship.
Yeah, and that's just going to add an enormous amount of extra pressure to Dave here, especially with Rob, who's hungry for a win himself, right behind him.
Well, both of them have had 2 second places apiece. Rob got second place 2 rounds ago, in fact, and 4th place last time. They've been running quite well consistently. And like I mentioned before the race as well, it's hotting up, and this even more so. The race for 3rd place in the championship too. These 2 are basically having it out themselves, away from the Kelly Tranter stuff, which has been making the LIMITof ADHESION headlines.
Yeah, great point. Batty's in that battle as well, and Hankin as well, and Burnett as well. But obviously those guys aren't with them. These two on track, so these two are scoring big points today for that third place battle. So crucial for their championships today.
Makes you wonder if James Garlick would also be amongst that third place battle if he'd joined earlier in the season, but that's what season 2 could be all about.
Well, on this showing, yeah. And I imagine some of the guys further back in the field are looking forward to season 2, where we go to the lower powered Skip Barber car, which is going to be more of a momentum car than the Radical. Probably slightly easier to drive.
I just saw a car just off the...
Sorry, Jim.
I just saw a car off the track there, and I just wonder if it was at the ledge that they just parked up potentially as these three passed it.
And Winslow through the ledge. So, he's got a damaged car there.
There we go, that's maybe what I saw.
And he's missed the pit entry, so he can't go in for a repair this lap.
That'll hurt him.
And Burnett closing on Garlick in 6th and 7th.
Great recovery drive from Burnett. He's getting a bit of an expert at them, which I'm sure will be frustrated at, but
yeah,
great to watch as he looks on the inside.
Nice move. He's got a history of making some nice moves as he comes through the field, but it's always that one or two errors that he seems to have per race that really have hurt his championship. But Will, despite being a very fast driver, he's another one that I'm sure will be looking forward to the skip, because he has expressed he likes that car a lot, as has Stephen Batty. He's another big fan of the skip. So I wonder whether that love of the car will actually translate. Oh, Kelly in corkscrew. Kelly.
Now, has he got a big enough a gap with Batty behind to maintain his third place?
Let's wait and see as they come down the hill. And there's the lead two. And there's Kelly. And the old orange roadblock up ahead.
Does that now unleash Miller a little bit to not have to look in his mirrors and just solely concentrate on getting as close to the line and look for an overtake?
Well, he's got to have been relieved to have seen that car's fallen back from him. And there's Batty on the tail of Gavin.
So that's what Kelly and Tranter both having mistakes in this race, a bit less significant, fortunately for Kelly. And is that the championship pressure maybe just mounting on these guys, that they're both so eager to get ahead that it's actually costing them places and points this race?
Yeah, no, it's a it's a good point. Yeah, I mean, this is, as we've said several times, it's an incredibly difficult car to race around this track, and to also then be thinking about your championship as well. It's going to be a nightmare for them.
There's a lot to concentrate on, the penultimate round of the LIMITof ADHESION Season 1 Championship, and the last time they're racing in these Radicals. Do you think these drivers will be happy to say goodbye to them? I
think some of the drivers will, sort of the lower half of the championship, will probably be quite glad to get rid of the car. I think someone like Mark, who races a Radical in real life as well. Oh no, Kelly, another mistake. Coming out the final corner.
Significant. That one is going to be a problem.
And Batty is through, and look who's right behind him. It's his championship rival, Mark Tranter.
And just speaking of him as well, he's going to be wondering what the hell's happened, but thanking his lucky stars that he's only one position behind Kelly.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So Stephen Batty up to third place now.
Well, that's not a podium I was expecting if this is how it finishes, but still got almost 6 laps of this race to go.
What a great scrap this has been. Dave Lyons hanging on grimly in first place still.
Hats off to Dave Lyon. He's had so much pressure throughout the race. He's seen these other drivers make mistakes in his rear view. He's not lost the lead at all from pole position.
He hasn't put a wheel wrong that we've seen so far, has he?
No, and same out to Rob Miller as well. We might see a replay maybe of Dave Lyon and have Rob Miller caught up, but yeah, the two of them, if Lyon has made a mistake, it's been minor.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about how, I did wonder whether either Dave backed off or maybe he did make a mistake. So, yeah, good point.
Yeah, well, those top two, they're competing, like we say, for third place in the championship with some other drivers, Batty included, who we're looking at now. But they've maybe had a bit of a few unfortunate races, but they're now showing just how good they are and are leading the race comfortably.
Yeah. Kelly stormed straight onto the back of Batty again then. Can he find a way back through and recover from his previous error?
He'll be kicking himself, won't he?
Oh, Batty gets 2 wheels in the dirt, and that's just the opening that Kelly needs. Down the inside he goes into T4.
It's a great aerial shot just to see how that overtake unfolded. Batty maybe getting a bit more pace on the exit, but it backs off before the braking zone. Probably quite sensible. You don't want to be doing an overtake into that horrible little corner there.
Yeah, it's a very tricky corner, that. There's the sausage curb waiting on the inside to batter your suspension if you clit it at speed. Oh, Batty looking to the inside. And we come to the final 2 corners of the lap. Pit entry just there on the left, and the final turn 11. Such a tricky corner. Trying to get on the power out of here. Replay of lap 4. Gary Jones versus Tony Hankin. And we're on...
Tony Hankin in the Batmobile.
Yeah, up to the corkscrew then. And what a move.
Indeed, yeah.
Ah, but then
Gary Jones
onto the dirt, cuts the corner, and Gary just slips back through.
Well done for Hankin for not going straight into the wall there or facing the wrong direction.
Yeah, great try. And here's Oh!
Wow, that is a big impact.
Not dropping it, and poor Lawrence on the receiving end there.
And minding his own business a little bit, and
ouch!
Completely
uncharacteristic error from Mark there, you'd have to say. Replay of lap 8, and this is the Lawrence's car. Poor bugger. Hankin tries to go around the outside and runs out of track.
It's not the first time we've seen Lawrence in an incident that wasn't anything to do with himself, just been an innocent bystander. I think, was it Scuba as well?
Oh, the Scuba with Batty, yeah. Point and replay of Lawrence again. At the corkscrew, missing the track and into the wall. Oh, man.
Favourite piece of gravel there. That's very unfortunate, having another issue.
Yeah.
Back up front, Dave Line has now extended his lead to 6.5 seconds on Miller. So Miller now must have had a
Kelly
problem.
Again.
And Kelly goes.
And there's transfer
facing the wrong direction.
Oh dear. For the championship, this is crucial. Kelly just made another unforced error, and he's now fallen behind Mark Tranter. Tranter up to 4th. You can see Lawrence just going through the pits there. Probably trying to get some repairs.
To add insult to injury, Kelly's also going to have Burnett right on the tail of him, and Burnett's have been pretty faultless from what we've seen, apart from his first corner incident, starting far back in 11th place.
Yeah. You see the ledge coming out of the pits.
It's not a slow cut. Yeah, there's Trant. Maybe the ledge might want to fancy give him a little love tap back as it passes on the outside.
His car doesn't look that repaired though. I wonder if he just had a drive through for exceeding incidents, not too many incident points.
Good point. We can maybe find out with the post race. Well, there's Burnett there just chasing Kelly, and Dixon in the pits as well. Just looking at the timing screens. And pit lane getting a bit of good traffic today.
Yeah, we've seen Winslade in there a couple of times as well. So just it's obviously the place to be, not the track.
So as I was saying before everything started kicking off, with Kelly spinning around and maybe B starting a conversation triggers these incidents, a commentator's curse of sorts. But Miller's dropped back, 5 seconds now, but 6 seconds when I mentioned it a lap or two ago.
Yeah, just
just
saw the screen there.
Has he had an incident?
Wanted to mention it, but well done for getting there quick. So what's happened here? Dixon's fallen to 10th.
We came out of the replays.
He's still in the pits.
Yeah. We came out of the replays. Miller was far back, so maybe he's had an incident as well. And truly is Line in a league of his own up front.
He's dominating.
5.5 seconds. He really is.
And Batty closing in on Miller now. Only a couple of laps to go.
It's a shame, isn't it? This is really made up for the procession that Silverstone was last week with all the entertainment I've come to expect from the LIMITof ADHESION Championship.
Absolutely, yeah. So next week we'll be Batty on that sausage curb like I was talking about.
You called
earlier.
it.
Yeah.
You called it, didn't you? It clatters the car.
Here's Tranter hunting him down. So next week will be the Daytona Full Oval course in Dallara DW12 IndyCars, so a bit of a different challenge for the drivers for this final race of the season, and then a well-earned long break before we resume racing with the Season 2 in the Skip Barbers.
That's going to be fascinating, isn't it? Well, both those events you mentioned next season, as well as having these drivers in a completely different track, completely different type of track, should I say, in a completely different car, and see if that shakes up the order even more, and maybe we could have even more cars ahead of Tranter and Kelly.
Well, I'm cream riser to the top, and the best drivers in the league will be the fastest drivers, but whether some of the other guys are just find the skip more to their liking, which is what I'm hopeful for.
Just got to interrupt you there, as
No, of course.
Batty's right on the tail. Yeah. I'm now looking on the inside of Miller in this last lap.
That's a great move.
And he's through.
Tranter looking to follow him through as well. Where's
Miller robust in the defence?
Where's Miller's pace
Went
gone?
a little bit
wide.
wide.
He's gone. He's gone off track.
Oh, he'll be kicking himself.
Oh, not the spin as well. Oh, no. That's really bad to see. What a shame for Rob. He's been doing such a great job in second place, and then just seemed like his pace fell away a bit, and now he's plummeted to 7th. We are on the last lap,
Miller,
and out of the final corner then, David Line wins at Laguna Seca for round 10 of the Radical Championship.
A big round of applause. A big round of applause there, Line.
And Stephen Batty comes home second place. Mark Tranter in 3rd. How did he manage that?
Would never have called Tranter to get 3rd place earlier on in this race.
Kelly home in 4th. Burnett 5th. And then we got 6th for James Garlick. 7th for Rob Miller. 8th Tony Hankin. 9th Gary Jones. 10th Paul Dixon. 11th Gareth Winslade. And 12th Lawrence Aaron Jenkins. Wow, what an amazing win for Dave Line.
Indeed, I mean, where do you even start with that race? The amount of incidents, we could watch it all again and still miss things. Oh, we've got an after-race replay here.
Yeah, so this is Winsley going to get lapped here by the leaders, and he's dropped it, and oh my god. Oh, I closed my eyes then.
Wow.
That was horrible. Winslade nearly taking out the leader by just being a bit unaware. And Dixon getting it wrong and putting himself in... Well, that would be why he went in the pits for repairs.
We've seen several cars at this part of the track. I mean, Miller as well was there, and we saw Batty clatter the curbs but get away with it.
Yeah. Replay of Kelly. So that was the incident we saw earlier where Tranter got through. Wow, so many... what an instant-packed race that was. Crazy.
Absolutely, wow. But yeah, the big thing now is just how does that impact our championship?
So if we take a look at the standings, we can see Mark Tranter has now taken the championship lead on 158 points, Gavin Kelly second, 153, and Dave Line back up to third on 111. Then Miller, Batty, Burnett, Hankin, Winslade, Dixon, Kimberley, Jones, Lawrence Aaron Jenkins, and James Garlick in 13th place. Well, a huge race for the championship there, and at times it looked like it could have been a completely different result with Tranter being behind Kelly and 2 or 3 spaces behind him, but he squirmed through at the end there to scrape an unlikely podium. I suppose the big thing is the fact that they weren't first and second, so that gap in points that they scored is slightly less than it would have been if they were higher up the order.
It's great, I think, just don't take anything away from Line, of course, who should be the man of the hour. He had the week off last week at Silverstone, and I don't know if he went to Laguna Seca maybe to to go out and do some real driving there, but terrific drive. And yeah, he lost a bit of time to Rob at one point, but faultless apart from that, wasn't he? And Miller, my heart goes out to you to lose second place, which he comfortably had for almost the entire race on the last lap, and shows just how close the chasing pack were, that he slipped so far down the order.
Yeah, no, totally, yeah. So we have a quick look at what the drivers have been saying after that race, and Mark Tranter was having enormous issues trying to even get into the server for the race, so he's amazed to have finished on the podium. Streak had to end at some point. Looking forward to the IndyCars next week. Dave Line, woohoo, first win. He'd like to do that race again, but I imagine most of the other drivers don't want to. Jules was obviously delighted. Gavin Kelly, I mean, he's a proper man of the people, isn't he? Always happy to see other people doing well. And Batty got a bit lucky, but he said he'll take it. So, yeah.
Second place for Batty, indeed. What a shout out! Yeah, giving all the plaudits to Miller there for doing so well, but Batty had to be there to get second place, and Line was in a league of his own, but Batty was the best of the rest.
Yeah. So next week, then, the final race of the season, and we're going to be on the oval, like I said, in the IndyCar. So a flat-out race with a pit stop to refuel the car. It's going to be a completely different challenge. No idea who's going to win that one. What do you think?
I couldn't tell you. I just think it's very fitting that the LIMITof ADHESION Championship ends on what is an entire race on a single curly straight.
Yeah.
I'll see you there next week.
Yeah, Jim. So, well, thank you very much for joining me as always, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. Hit the bell notification icon. So, for the LIMITof ADHESION Radical Championship presented by Make Real Media, I've been Gareth, he's been Jim. Thank you very much for listening.